Hello everyone and welcome. I'm the Angry Chef, and today we are going to start a playthrough of at least a season of Motorsport Manager. I found this game on sale on Steam. I'm really into kind of business and management simulation type games, but I'd never really played any that were based on racing. And since I bought it, I put over 100 hours into the game, so it's kind of grown on me in a way that most games don't. But in this game, you manage a motorsport association, and what we're going to do today is start a new career, and we're going to turn off tutorials. I'll explain everything as we go. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp on how the game actually works. We're going to set short because anything longer may get monotonous for a video. Just be full of filler. We're going to have our US dollars, and our date is going to be American. Autosave is going to be on, and I am going to make sure all of my mods are off for this one. I just want to try out the new update for the game and see what's different and what's new and what they changed. But we have that all set up. We're going to continue, and I'm going to be Angry Chef, and date of birth, I'm just going to randomly throw a date of birth in here. And we're going to race for the United States, of course, our home country. And we have a backstory option here, which gives us different bonuses. I think I like using the X-Driver because the feedback rating really helps you when you're trying to get your car set up for the race, which I'll explain a little bit more as we go. We're going to give him kind of a generic hairstyle here, and facial hair similar to my own. They don't have a whole lot of options. We'll pick that, and since I wear glasses, we'll give him glasses. We're going to create a new team, which means you build a completely new team from the ground up. You'll need to sign new drivers and staff. Finances are not managed for you on a per race basis. It's recommended for experienced players because you don't actually make money for your races like you would by choosing a team. Instead, you get a lump payment at the beginning of your season, and you have to kind of manage the money from there. So we're going to start at the lowest of the low in European Racing Series. It gives us a breakdown here of how many races, teams, and how much money's on the line. It also tells us the team average and quality of their cars, drivers, headquarters, staff, and sponsorships, I believe. So we have the car specifications, which don't really mean too much as far as we're headed. We're just going to continue to the European Racing Series. And we set our team name here, and my other team is Angry Racing, so I'm going to call this Angry Engineering. And of course, it will be the United States yet again. Logo design. I'm pretty fond of this logo. Our primary color is going to be orange, and secondary will be white. Team uniform. We'll give them a nice pinstripe shirt with a hat to match. And we're going to do orange and white. And then we get to pick the livery on the car. First, we need to make a few changes here. Our tertiary color will be black, and our trim color will also be black. Then we have light and dark sponsor colors, and as long as we can see the sponsors on the car, that's all I'm concerned about. And I have the livery pack DLC, which I'm not sure if it was free, but I have it anyway, so we get some other neat liveries to choose from. I think we'll go with this one here, because it's kind of postmodern with skeletons. A little bit splatter art. I like it. We'll go with that one for this first season. We're finished editing, and then we get banks that are investing in us. These banks are interested in funding a brand new motorsport team, and they will want to head up your entire operation. You'll need to keep your investor happy, so choose wisely. So we have Root Investments, which I'm not interested in the literature here, more on the bonuses. We had a 3-star chassis and a small financial package. This one gives you more marketability, which makes you more likely to get good sponsors, and a medium financial package. If you go with Golden Tiger, you get a test track pre-built and a large package, but you'll have high pressure on you to finish well. I think we're going to go with Stonewell Bank. The marketability is nice because better sponsors pay better, and we won't have the bonus of the better chassis, but we may be able to hire a driver to get around that. So Angry Engineering is getting ready to start, I believe, the preseason, or they may start us in the middle of a race. But I have another career in this game where I've gone through 6 or so seasons, starting from the very bottom, and it was tough, but I loved every minute of the struggle to get to the top. So here we are. We have our main menu, and I'll kind of explain the menu in a little bit of detail. We have our drivers and our team, how our chairman feels about us, and we haven't decided on our objective yet, so nothing's going to show up there. We have the stats for our team, and it gives us a breakdown on how we do against the other teams. This area here is any, I believe, parts you're working on, and then we have the standings over here on the right in our next race. At the bottom, we have the home, which is where we are now. We have my screen, which tells you about your character and any team jobs you may be able to take. You can be fired in this game, so you may have to pick up another position if you do get fired. Here is our email. There's a whole bunch of stuff here we'll go over in a minute. This is our car screen where we can design new parts, which we can actually design every part but the 2 parts that are spec'd. So we will not be able to upgrade those parts at all, but we will be able to adjust our other ones. We have our headquarters, which right now we have level 1 factories and a level 1 design center, and not much else. That's all that we have so far, and they're very expensive to upgrade. We have our team breakdown with our drivers, the lead designer, and the race mechanics, who are all terrible. We're definitely going to have to replace them. I think that our first season is going to focus mostly on getting us some new designers and mechanics and trying to improve the car just a little bit. We have our drivers and details about them and how they've been performing, as well as how much they're being paid, which that amount for 2.5 stars is a little crazy. We have our staff page, which tells us a little about our mechanics. So we have bonuses on the bottom, how long their contracts are, and these mechanics are supplied to you on a weekly basis, I believe. So you basically should replace them as soon as possible. They're really cheap, so early on it might be okay to keep them, but their stats are very low and they will hurt you. can scout new drivers and new designers and new mechanics here. Here's our finances. It's costing us $1.2 million per race when our available budget is $10 million. There are 10 races in the season, so currently we don't even have enough money to make it to the end of the season. Well, we haven't gotten our starting bonus yet, so we'll try to get something decent. We have all of our sponsors offers, which we don't have any sponsors yet. We have the league standing, and we can look through all the other leagues as well here. We have the calendar, which tells us when our next races are and gives us details on those races. Up at the top, balance, we have standings, we have what our next race is, the crucial components, and the forecasts, as well as how much fuel, tire wear, and laps we'll have to look at taking care of. We have the Global Motorsport Association, which is any rule changes that we're going to see pop up during the season. Spec brakes, I will probably vote for, because that means I won't have to spend that money on developing my brakes. This is a message indicator telling you have unread mail, and we have our menu there. So we're going to open our mail, the start of something great. And this is an email from our chairman. You didn't just think you'd be handed the reins without any oversight, did you? Your investors have asked me to keep an eye on how things are progressing. I'll be acting as your chairman, and I have the power to remove you from your job if things aren't, shall we say, going to plan. Anyway, I look forward to working with you. Rest assured that there's plenty to do. We have an email from our assistant. First of all, can I just say that I'm amazingly excited to be your assistant here at this wonderful new venture. Just saying that I work for Angry Engineering gives me immense pleasure, I can assure you. I'll be around to update you with everything from around the team. For now, it might be an idea to start signing some new sponsorship deals and looking around for driving talent. Thanks for the opportunity. Let's make Angry Engineering the best team in the world. So this email, we have to select how we feel we're going to do this season. We can pick 10th for 14 million, or we can pick 8th for 16 million. I think I want to take a risk and go for this one. It's only $2 million more, yes, but it will definitely help us early. We have a scouting report. Our drivers are awful, our designer is awful, our mechanics are awful. You need to get hiring fast. And he wants me to head to the scouting department so that we can scout some new drivers. And I try to scout some drivers by looking at how much they're costing per race, because I don't know what their ability is. And you can kind of tell this driver's getting paid $1 million per race. You know, they've got to be a great driver. This guy doesn't have a job, so he's going to be very cheap to bring on. So we'll scout him. We'll scout Scott Price. And we'll scout Sarah Thomas. So we can only do 3 currently. Designers. We can pick up a new designer. I normally just sort by ability and take a look, see what we have. Braylon Stockwell, Scott Moore. We have Callum Hamilton here, he's pretty good designer. He's going to cost us a good bit if he's even interested. He's not interested in joining us because we're in a lower league than he currently works in. So we can sort our list by racing series. Find somebody in the European series that's not too old, because they start to get worse as time goes on. Or they'll be more set to retire. Well, she's really, really bad. Kind of want to get a 3-star or better. Ruby Smith. Her brake improvement rate is terrible, but if we are able to get spec brakes, it might be worthwhile. She also has some decent bonuses, so she's not interested either. Okay, well, sort by ability. Oh, look, unemployed. Okay, well, she doesn't have good bonuses, but we can take her in the short term. She's currently unemployed. Wages are important. The max we can give her is 175. So I'd say about 100 grand should probably be enough to make her happy. We're going to ask for a long contract, but we'll offer her a signing bonus of a lot of money if she manages a first place finish in a race. That's important early because it'll get you people for a little cheaper and kind of save you some money in the long term. So we have to wait for her to respond back to us. Meanwhile, we'll try to find some decent mechanics. And there were a few in my old game, but I don't think they would join us because I was in the World Motorsport Championship. So pit stops are really bad. And you can definitely sort this list by specific abilities. So if I definitely want a 3-star driver or 3-star mechanic, I can go through. It looks like it's going to be slim pickings this early though. So we'll just see if we can find somebody to hire. $48,000. I'm not interested. I may have misjudged how difficult it was going to be to find a useful mechanic here. I can pick this guy up, Johnny Jenkinson maybe. He's interested. And he's very cheap. Currently only 19,000, so we'll offer him 22 and we'll pay all of his buyout clause. And I won't give him any bonuses unless I have to. See if we can find one more mechanic here. No European. Not excellent, but we can always find a better one later, and he is still cheap. So we'll offer him roughly the same contract that we offered that last mechanic. We're scouting drivers, which we can't do a whole lot yet with the drivers until we get some information about them. I don't want to potentially hire a bad driver. Alright, so this is something new. It's important to know that by GMI-wide change to car modifications on race weekends, weight stripping allows teams to strip car parts down to the bare bones in order to decrease the overall weight of the car. Stripping a car's parts hurts reliability, but increases performance. Any reliability loss due to weight stripping is repaired after the race. Teams can perform stripping before practice, qualifying, and race. However, any reliability loss in a previous session cannot be repaired until the race weekend is over. The introduction allows safer, more reliable teams to use their excess reliability to improve performance. Okay, that sounds pretty neat. I haven't had a chance to use that yet. So, where to get started? We have $26 million right now. I feel like one of our best moves may be to go ahead and upgrade our factory. If we do that, we can add more parts to be improved or upgraded at a time. But I don't know. We'll probably just start off by designing us an engine, and we have to pick components to make that engine up. If we pick anything with a risk level, it means we have a chance to be caught and we lose positions in the race. So I'm going to go with this guarantee here to not break any rules. Gives us a little bit of a bonus, and it gives us a reliability bonus, which means it'll have a little more reliability right at the get-go. It will also cost us a pretty penny, and it'll be done just before our race. Alright, the chairman says, I hope you know what you're doing. I know enough. Thank you, chairman. We're going to take a look at our budget real quick, and I'm going to set the car budget higher for the next year. It will cost us more, so now we're looking at about 15 million in race fees. And we're going to go to our factory, and we have 2 spots, and we have 2 spots for performance right now. We can rotate these around to try to get better numbers here, but they're not very good, so it's not going to really matter. We seem to have really good reliability right off the start. I want to get everything that's not at 70% to 70%. And we will improve performance on our brakes, because I feel like they're going to be spec soon anyway. And doing that and splitting up our staff between both jobs causes them to take longer, but you can get more done, so it's usually worthwhile. We're going to click continue, and it's going to start carrying us through our calendar. Alright, so every time something of note pops up, you'll get a little email. So we've got these over 70. I'm going to remove them so they can concentrate on the little bit of performance gains we're going to get. We're going to take a look here, and we have a agreement from Johnny Jenkinson. So we're going to sign him up. It's going to cost us a little money. We're going to replace Gary Beaton. It cost us $95,000, which is fine. And we have a new race mechanic, and they have bonuses for being with drivers for a long time. So we have Pit Stop Guru, and we have Quick Fixes. I like the perk of Nurse, and I'm hoping we can find it, but that'll be down the road. It'll make our car's reliability go down half as fast almost. But we have an email. Is Roberts going to retire? One of the team's drivers looks like they might be retiring. There it is, Johnny Jenkinson accepting and signing the contract, and a mail from Central Sports saying that he's going to be the new mechanic. I'm going to continue some more. We have to adjust our contract here. She's not happy at all with wages, so we'll offer her 140. She like a nice signing fee, so we'll give her 135 grand. So that's what we'll offer this time. When she runs out of patience, we won't be able to offer anything, and she won't talk to us anymore for a while. Interview. Congratulations on joining Angry Engineering. Are you interested in doing an interview? Yes. You certainly picked a tough task for your first job. Are you expecting to pick up many points at all this season? It'll be a struggle. Winning a few points would be wonderful. It'll make such a difference to our budget. I dropped our owner's happiness, but I'm fine with that. Andre Gomez is our top driver. Do I agree with that? I'm lucky enough to have 2 great drivers. In Motorsport Racing Magazine season preview, I wrote that you're expecting to finish 10th. Is that accurate? The prediction's fair, but I hope we're going to surprise you. We all remember your time as a fan favorite racer a few years back, but will you be able to transfer your skills to the management game? I know the ins and outs and need when a racing driver needs to make a great car, so I'm sure I'll be fine. I think that's everything. Thank Angry. Thank you. So this is Karina renegotiating, and Archer has snapped up Gary Watson, our race mechanic. We're going to advance time a little. Okay, so we got a sponsorship offer. And I'm going to let this sit for a minute because you get up to 3 offers per slot. So I'm just going to wait and let it fill in before I pick one. Tom Woodbridge accepted our offer, so that's another mechanic. We're going to replace them and pay our $94,000. And we hired a new mechanic. He has engine expert. Higher engine mode is no longer impacting the That's amazing. And he has nurse. Oh, that's a really good combination. Alright, excellent. We got a report on the Black Sea. 18 laps, 2.6 miles. The record is 1 minute 21.391. Likely to be rain, with Sunday showing a 40% chance. It favors excellent acceleration. It tells us the tire compounds and how abrasive the track is. And we're ready to go. It's Tom Woodbridge joining and the news telling the world. Okay, those sounds mean that we have more sponsorship offers, which we have a race in 5 days. I'm going to try to wait and see if we get more offers before the race. Our design center is lagging behind. I can't afford to fix that. Alright, Karina is still not happy. So I'm going to offer her, if we get first place, you'll make a killing. I'll offer you 200k, and I'll offer you that. I won't go any higher for what she's rated. Alright, then we'll jump forward. I heard a bunch of sponsorships. So this one we have 3. We have Golden Tiger, Dutch Air, and Big Doe. They all have different requirements. I think we're going to go with Golden Tiger. They have almost $1 million payment, and that's going to be more helpful early in the game here. We're going to wait for some more before we pick. So there's a huge anticipation for the season opener in the Black Sea. Angry Engineering, Angry Chef will be out to impress the rest of the paddock. Okay. So our engine has been designed. We'll go ahead and slap that into there. We'll take these brakes out and slap our engine into performance as well. We will also fit that part to one of our cars. And I think since Gomez is better, we'll give it to him. Still not full on our sponsorships. Alright, now we're traveling to the Black Sea, so before that happens, I'm definitely going to pick some sponsors. There's no way we're going to be able to complete either of these, so I'll just pick the better one. These as well, they have an upfront payment, so I'm taking them. So every dollar is going to help us early in the first season. Upfront, or 6 races of 650 or 150k. This one will pay out more if it was going longer, so I think I'm going to take that. It's also shorter. We have one that's paying $1.5 million or one that's paying 2,200,000. I'm going to take the one that's going to pay out. Okay. And Wolfhagen Racing's Will Baggs is going to retire. Alright, well, he's not going to affect us. So here's our pre-race screen. It doesn't look like we have qualifying, but we do have practice. So this will be going to practice. We're going to pick our lowest ranked sponsor. Since we may not do so hot, we're going to make sure both of our drivers are content, because they get upset if they're not relatively equal. And then we'll head out to the race. And we get a nice splash menu of the world, and it shows us where we're going to end up. This game actually started out as a mobile game, but the original mobile game looks nothing like this one. I really kind of like the art of it, where it's kind of like based on real world, but since it's not licensed, nothing is real world exclusive. It doesn't have to match exactly to be, covered. So here we pick our drivers. I'm going to pick our 2 main drivers, This is our reserve driver. We can use him if we need to. I'm going to check a car setup. And at this point, you basically have to adjust these sliders based on the track to give the car as high of a performance rating as possible. So what we're going to do is, this track doesn't have so many sharp corners, so I'm going to try to keep the downforce a little lower than I normally would. We're going to take the handling to A here, and we're going to give it a bit more top speed. So we'll say WAA is basically where I set that. We'll go out on super softs, and I have a good reason in how I do my practices. With Anthony, same thing. We'll go W, and then we'll bring it there since hers cuts off, and then we will take it to the edge there just to see how close we are. We'll also throw her on super softs. And ooh, this is the weight stripping part. We'll look at this real quick. So I can use this slider to cut. Oh, that's pretty neat, actually. I'm not gonna use it now because it's gonna be something I'll have to toy around with a bit. But we'll go ahead and start our practice, and we will take our practice. Spacebar pauses the game, so I'm gonna pause it, and I immediately, since I already set the cars up, want to get them sent out. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Up top, you have the current knowledge that they have of the parts and of the trim that they're using. We have set up to race trim because there's no qualifying. Right here you have standings and how the other drivers are in relation to yours. We have the weather forecast, and since our forecasting center is unupgraded, we can only see that much of it. So we have to kind of keep an eye on it. And the amount of water on the track. This is the amount of grip on the track. This is the data center, which gives you all kinds of standings and statistics. And then I don't know how to get out of it. I'll just click continue. Down here you have all of the driver data. You have 2D mode, 3D mode, and you have fast forward. I always run my races in super fast forward, just because I've gotten used to how it all works. And basically, in practices, I will send my cars out and bring them back in a couple of times so that I can get the adjustments correct on the cars. Proper handling, proper gearbox ratios, everything. I want to be as close to perfect as I can before I send them out for their initial practice lap. I'll get them both in the pits. And I did a great job with the other car. Gomez's car, we have great downforce, excellent handling, and good speed. So we will drop the speed just a little, and we will drop, add a little bit more downforce to see if it gives us any benefit. We'll use the same tires, and then we'll check her score. And anything above 97% I'm generally happy with, so she has a very, very good balance. And we're just going to keep hers the way it is. I'm not even going to bother to get that last 2% because I could end up messing up the whole part. Now, you can save them now. You could not save your setups before. So I could click save, and I can use this on, I'm assuming, any time I start up. So we're just going to take it off pause, send everybody back out. And what I like to do once they're set is just turn everything up to attack. They tend to get the best times, and seeing your cars have good times makes you feel good. It doesn't do more than that in practice. It's just more or less personal, good feeling for having the first spot. but we just basically want to run our practice session. We've got Gomez back. We dropped it down and turned it good, so we're going to revert to our old setup, and we're going to dial it in a little more to the right. And then we want to get our speed balance back to that line, or as close to that line as we can. That might be okay, we'll see. We're going to send him out on the same worn tires he's been using. And it looks like we're going to have to be refueling, which is something I didn't have in my other career due to the rules that were in effect when I started. But, let's see, we're definitely not going to be performing at the best in practice because these cars and our drivers aren't great. I'm used to having much better equipment. So she's showing low fuel. We'll go ahead and bring her in. As soon as Gomez shows low fuel, we'll bring him in as well. Looks like they changed the tire temperature gauges. When you adjust your strategy here and go with overtake mode, push high, it causes, as far as engine modes are concerned, more strain on the car, and as far as tires are concerned, it causes your tires to heat up faster and wear faster. If your tires heat up too much or they get too cold, then they will start to fall apart and your wear will go up exponentially. I'm going to send out Anthony one more time. The weird thing for me is I couldn't actually set the fuel for this. It only gives them enough fuel to do a certain number of laps. So I'm going to pick a new set of tires because new tires are almost always faster than your used tires or any tires with wear on them. And I'm just going to set her to red, and I'm just going to let her drive out the rest of the race. And Gomez is going to be the same way as soon as he makes it back into the pits here. He ran out of fuel, that's why it was taking him a while. And I think we broke his setup a little. We're at 97%. I know we could probably adjust it a little, but I don't want to risk making it any worse. So we'll just leave him where he is. Give him the same strategy. And then we will let him just run the race out. But you have a whole lot of things you actually have to keep track of during the race. And it's one of the reasons I really enjoy it. It's because I tend to play it early in the mornings before I get up to do anything. And it helps kind of wake my brain up and get everything functioning before I leave the house. But it looks like currently we are running about 4th and 7th in practice, which, again, this isn't qualifying, so the races won't be starting with us in those positions. Since it's a new season, I'm not sure which rules they have for qualifying or for the starting grid, so we'll have to see that once the race gets started. And practice is over. We're just waiting for 3 more cars to finish their laps, and then it'll give us a breakdown. We managed to get 4th and 6th, which for the beginning of a season isn't too bad. It's not bad at all. We get a breakdown of the report on the practice, and we get even almost like tweets over here of different stuff. Does a track here suit Angry Engineering or something? They look like they're going to get a good result this weekend. I hope so. Even though we only guaranteed 10th spot, which is dead last, I still like to do as good as possible. So we'll win more money at the end of the championship. So in this screen, it's our pre-race screen. We can strip weight again. We have knowledge, which our mechanic components go here, which they haven't been together long enough for any to show up. So we're just going to use our race trim and our super soft tire trim here. And this track, I'm not sure. I think the tire wear is low. But we have our setups and our tires, whatever we want to start on. We have how many laps in this race. Everything's different now. It used to all be right here. And then we have our starting strategy. Starting strategy, I usually go, if I'm going with a really soft tire, I'll start with the orange push, and I'll go with the engine overtake mode for the first lap. If you don't use that early, you end up being thrown way to the back of the pack right off gate. So this is a breakdown of our starting grid. We can kind of see where everybody is lined up. Looks like we're starting 12th and 18th. I'm still not sure how the grid's set up. But here we go, to the green light. We'll turn up the speed to max. We have 18 laps in this race, which is very, very few compared to what I'm used to racing. Gotta keep an eye on our weather because they were expecting rain and we don't want to get caught on a wet track using slicks. So in the beginning of the races, you usually will see a lot of, bunching up of different drivers. And I don't know, somebody just dropped back. It looked like there was an accident. Oh, there was something here. He hit someone. Evans caused a collision, but I'm not sure with who. Alright, so we have started our second lap. We're going to switch our engine mode to high. Our tires are heating up really fast, so we're going to drop to neutral. And I pretty much have a strategy for this game that I always go to. So I'm going to kind of try to follow that today and do it as I normally would. It seems to work out better once you get better drivers and better cars and everything. And we've replaced everything but the drivers so far. Right, we keep an eye. We're at 55% on our tires. If these tires get below 25%, I believe you start to see a performance decrease. So we're going to probably be pitting on the next lap. We're going to drop. Well, if we're pitting on the next lap for her, we'll go ahead and ramp up her engine mode. I'm not used to using the refueling. It's crazy. I've gone through 6 seasons and our fuel tanks were full from the start and you could not refuel. So it's a rule that I'm not yet used to. Right, so she's dropping. We want her to pit. The weather says everything is clear. So we'll go out on another set of super softs. And we will drive them a little bit easier. It says we'll get 5 to 7 laps. So we'll put 6 laps of fuel in there. And all of our parts look good, so we're not going to do anything. We're going to do a balanced pit stop because it's a lot less of a risk. Everybody's burning their fuel. And you're going to start pushing your tires. He's going to pit next lap. Okay. Everything's going okay. We're currently 14th and 16th. Our sponsor objective is 13th. So we're not quite where we need to be yet. Anthony's pitting. We'll drop her to neutral. We're going to drop him to neutral, and we're going to tell him to pit. And we want 6 laps of fuel. Make sure that the weather's still gonna go our way. We're not gonna fix his engine yet. We have to take at least one more pit stop before we do that. Okay, we'll turn her up to push. He's starting to say that his engine is starting to feel bad, which it dropped quite a large amount just since the last time we looked at it. 6 laps of fuel. Fix his engine. Luckily you can cancel pit stops in order to do that. Okay, he's running. Everything looks fine. Somebody made a mistake with a tire. And the tire mistakes cost you so much in terms of pit times that you really don't want to see that happening. I'll turn down her fuel a little to make sure everything's balanced. The weather still not calling for rain. I was kind of hoping that it was gonna rain. Usually when it rains, you can get a decent boost on your opponents by pitting properly. But I don't know. It does seem like the game is running a little bit worse than it was before the update. Also, I may have to look into my settings and change a few things. Currently we're performing pretty much as we were expected. Not gonna be the best race we've ever had, but it seems like I'm doing a decent job at conserving fuel. And Anthony will be pitting next lap. We'll probably go out on softs just to try to get to the end of the race. She's gonna go ahead and pit actually. Yeah, softs are 7 to 9. We have 8 laps remaining. So she has almost 2 laps of fuel left. So we'll fill up our gas tank. And I feel like if I don't fix at least one of those, it'll be a disaster. So she's pitting, and Gomez will pit on the next lap. And pick up some softs, get some more fuel. And his parts, I believe, are going to survive. I hope are going to survive. With his engine failing like that earlier, there's no telling. But if you enjoy managing games or games where you have to keep track of lots and lots of different factors at the same time, you'll probably really enjoy this game. So I kind of was a sleeper until... Oh, so it actually tells us if we have excess fuel. Anthony has an engine problem, but I hope she can make it the rest of the race. I don't have any intention on pitting her this late. And Gomez just crashed for no reason. That is probably one of the absolute worst things that I have ever seen. But Faith Anthony managed to get a few positions from the drivers that were pitting. Someone ran out of fuel. And with the safety cars, basically the safety car comes out, everybody bunches up for a lap, and then the safety car goes back in. I enjoy when the safety car comes out because it kind of bunches the pack up and you get a lot more of a competitive race. But right now, our cars and our drivers just cannot compete with the other cars on the field. We're still racing around to catch up with the safety car. And now it's heading to the garage. So someone ran out of fuel, but they managed to pit. I don't know if we'll even be able to catch up. Somebody retired due to a mechanical issue. That means they are effectively out of the race. How he's in the first? Oh, he pitted. Okay, that makes sense then. And and the race started and I wasn't paying any attention. So we're going to ramp up our car for this last little bit here and try to get as good of a position as we possibly can. As long as we have excess fuel, then we don't have to worry about running out. And these tires are going to be good for more than 2 laps. So we won't have to worry about them completely wearing. We can always make an adjustment. We need to adjust our fuel usage there. And hope to get, engine is failing. Cross your fingers, everyone. We may not finish this race at all. This is the last lap. We have low fuel. Will we be able to make it? Are we running out of fuel? Anthony. I think we're at least going to make it to the finish line. Ran out of fuel right after the line. Well, for a team that expected to come in 10th place, I think we probably finished 9th or 8th there because of the 15th finish by Anthony, which, again, this early in the first season, we're looking at being complete underdogs. We have to improve, and when we do, we'll see a noticeable difference. And we have a little thing here where it checks all of our cars and all the other cars in the field. It looks like in this league, the fastest lap gets points bonus. And you get points for every position, which is kind of neat. So Faith Anthony finished 15th and got 6 points. Gomez crashed and still ended up getting 1. And that puts us, this is our driver championship standings. And we're currently ranked 9th, which is better than 10th. Okay, and this is a breakdown of what happened during the race. And we have our Twitter feed over here on the right. Updating your factory and design center will make it faster to improve parts. We do know that. And one thing I generally do with this game is before I save and quit after my races, I'll always try to get to the next race, so I start off on a race. And that's kind of how I'm going to try to do this series. So we have basically our after race points and statistics. You have morale changes. He lost morale because he crashed. She gained morale because she finished pretty good. You have all of their changes to their stats here and how their relationship with their mechanic has changed. This is our reserve driver. He's going to pretty much lose points. We have our expected and our finishing result. Well, I picked 8th, so we need to do better. His happiness dropped and our marketability took a hit. If his happiness gets too low, he might fire us, so we're going to have to keep an eye out on that. We paid our fees for the race, and now we're going to continue through all the other event roundups. And down here you see these are where we're scouting our drivers. It's not where the parts show up like I said earlier. So Beauchamp tops the sheets in Black Sea. This is our average car condition drop, 87% because he crashed. So it's going to take 47 hours to fix it. We have an interview. After his win, we were wondering if you had any thoughts on Sergio Arbeloa. Thinking of working with him in the future. Arbeloa. I don't like to say things that are going to hurt my own driver's morale. So I will just go with that option. And they're talking about the race that we just went through. Okay, so we want to design a new part now, as we are 10th on the grid as far as our car is concerned. We're going to design a gearbox this time. Both of those points are terrible. And instead of that, let's just design a better motor, shall we? We'll get the one with the top speed bonus and the reliability bonus. We need to keep track of our money still, but I'm not going to be concerned about that too much right now. I'm going to just continue. Oh, and Karina does not want to deal with me. She was a designer, so we're going to need to get a new designer on the horn. What about this guy? He doesn't seem too bad. Produce an additional part for no extra cost. Alright. Hey buddy, you want a job? We'll start him off with a good offer of 100K. Give him a long contract. Give him... Whoa, that's a lot of money. We'll offer him 240. And if he can do better than 5th place, we'll give him a $36,000 bonus. Maybe that'll be enough to bring him in. I don't want to risk having another designer say no this early. So, while our car's being repaired, our parts won't get worked on. We just finished that. We'll hop into here, and we'll go ahead and put another engine in here. Maybe that one. It's a little bit better. We'll drop that out and we'll add that to get a little bit better engine performance. We'll spread out our staff, and we'll just kind of run it a little longer until hopefully we can get this designer, and hopefully he gets done scouting some of these drivers that we have here. Take a look, see if I recognize any names. I recognize Shin Kui. She's a pretty good driver. You know, I might just make her, she just signed a new contract. I think that's a shame. The guys that aren't on teams are generally pretty good, but there's a few drivers I have that I can't seem to get my hands on because they're in better leagues. But that's alright. Oh, did we renegotiate his contract? No, he has no more patience. Well, I'll offer you the max, and a little bit more there, maybe? Do you really want to work or not? Oh, we got a sponsorship offer. Ooh, I'm taking it. Another $1 million for 6 races. It's not too shabby. It is only 1 star, but that's fine. And we got us a new designer. It cost us another $360K. Well, that was his signing bonus. But contract signed, new lead designer. That's great. And we'll see what he can do. Tanvir Jha is going to retire. Anytime you have another motorsport division have a race, they'll always show you the results as they simulate it. And we're still waiting on, there we go, engine build finished. We will take that motor out, we'll throw that motor in, and we'll do the same with that one. And then we'll try to design a gearbox. Again, it's just the band parts. I'll take the cheap bonus since I don't have any choice. We can improve it a little and possibly make a better one with the next tier. So our driver scouting is done. He's a pretty good driver, spoilt, born leader, selfish. Maybe not. And we have Sarah Thomas, who's just terrible. Claudia Dreyfus. See, without scouting, we won't know, but they give us kind of a breakdown here. So she actually doesn't want to sign. Hong Liao I have on my other game. He's not interested as he's just signed a contract. So both my drivers had contracts already. And I don't recognize any of these other driver names. You know what? He's terrible. Those traits he has are just so bad. I don't want to pick him up. Just bad. So bad. I need to be able to see better better drivers. So I need a scouting division for that. He just finished scouting another driver. Scott Price. This is a 2-star driver. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. See if there's any more drivers that don't have teams. They're all a little bit older. He seems okay. He's only 26. Alright, we'll go ahead and offer him wow. He wants quite a bit of money per race. So yeah, he's got to be a good driver. We cannot afford that. Okay, so we have another retiree. And we have successfully made it to the race. Our performance work is finished. So we will add, let's add the gearboxes and get a little bit of bonus performance. Well, I think on that, we'll go ahead and end the episode right here today. I didn't expect it to go on so long, but I forgot about all the little intricacies of starting up a new game, and all of the time I would be talking about the features and the UI. It's a whole lot of information to take in at once, but I plan on doing in one whole season, which is just going to be the 10 races, so it'll be probably 10 episodes, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I wanted to try something a little bit new for me, and I plan on having another video come out a little later, doing my first ASMR tapping and other types of sounds. But thank you so much for your support. I wouldn't be here without you guys, and I really appreciate you for watching today. You all have a great day, and I'll see you next time.